You guys are in for a really special treat today. We're going to take you through the factory and show you how agriculture electronics are made, and it's a really cool process. You guys are going to be super impressed. But before we do that, we're going to actually go find Garrett Maurer with Intelligent Ag, and he's going to help us understand what goes into a product from an idea all the way to production. So we'll go talk to him a little bit. Let's go find him. Hey Garrett.
Hey
It's
Joel.
a beautiful day. Let's go talk about how products become products.
Sure, let's do that.
So Garrett is our director of product. So the whole life cycle of a product from idea to customer support is in Garrett's responsibility group. Tell us a little bit about what goes on in your team.
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about the idea of product, really we break it down into three functions, and that's product management, product development, and product support. On the product management side, one of our big focuses is really to determine what problems can we solve in the field that will bring value to our customers. From there, if we believe that there is an opportunity that we should pursue, then we bring it to product development. And so what we do there is really come up with the specification for the product. Then on the tail end, you have the support function, product support. And that's really, we've put the product in the field, and now we need to make sure that our customers are still delighted with it, that they enjoy the product, that it's serving the purpose and providing the value that it's supposed to. And when people have questions or somebody has an issue, then product support really works with them to figure out what to answer the question or solve the problem that they're having. And we're getting the knowledge from the people on the ground in the field that help us either make our current products better or develop new products.
So, if you have feedback for us, please contact us anytime. Go out intelligentag.com and find the contact us form, and Garrett will take them and figure out if that's something we can do. So
Will do.
let's head in and see how products are made. All right, everybody, I'm here with Nunez. He is the Vice President of Manufacturing and a bunch of other things. Andres, what would you say you really do here?
Thank you, Joe. And it's an honor to have the Intelligent Ag Group with us this morning and show you a little bit of our operation. We have very complex, but at the same time, advanced systems. How is that important for the customers? Well, at the end of the day, you're going to receive a product in the field, and if you are to find any issues, then we have a very easy way to trace it back and really understand what could have happened. Now, the other thing we do is we monitor quality levels every single day. I receive a report every day at 6 p.m. and tells me how the floor performed during that day and what kind of issues we have. We run our operation on a very efficient level, but also high quality. Even before this is shipped out to customers, and we can take preventive action to prevent defects on the field, which is the most important concern for me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for everything you guys do.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, so I've got a very special guest here today. This is Nate Hawk. Nate's holding a blockage monitor ECU, so you might recognize this. But this is what it looks like before we put all the microphones and components on that actually make it work for your air seeder. You can see all those bare silver dots. That's where a component is going to go. And so what does that process kind of look like for us, Nate, as we have to populate that with components?
Well, the operator will take a few of these boards and load it into our what we call the bare board buffer. It holds about 50 PCBs at once. So it continuously spits the boards out as they get processed. The first station the board goes to is what we call a screen printer. The screen gets held in this machine. The board will go underneath it, get pressed up against the screen, and then there'll be a kind of a solder paste applied to the screen. Squeegees will come down and it'll squeegee the paste into all these apertures, and every aperture you see here is a pad on the PCB. So once the paste is applied, we have another machine that inspects the paste on all the pads to make sure we have the correct amount. If that passes, it'll continue on into the SMT machine, which basically it's a machine that picks up parts and places it on every pad. So all your chips, resistors, all the components that it requires will be placed on the board. After that, we have another inspection machine that makes sure all the parts are placed correctly, they're all orientated in the right direction, and everything's present of what is needed to be on the PCB. And then after that, it goes through what we call reflow oven, which will heat up the paste that the parts are sitting on, and it will turn the paste liquidous, and then it'll cool it down, and that's what forms your solder joints for all the components onto the PCB.
Yeah, so it's important to remember that as it's going through this process until it gets to that oven, it's still kind of a liquid glue or paste, solder paste. It's not like you and I might think of soldering a pipe together where you heat it up and it melts and then it cools again. This is actually like a paste, and it's a paste in paste form all the way until that oven. So,
Hey everyone, I'm here with Andy Westby, Senior Manufacturing Engineer, and he's going to walk us through a little bit of this assembly station where we're actually putting together the PCB and the enclosure components of our 24-port ECU for our wireless blockage product. So go ahead, Andy, why don't you tell them a little bit about what's going on here?
Yeah, so about a year ago we brought in a UR5 assembly arm to help us put screws in for this operation. So what we're doing here now is putting the PCB down, so we free up an operator to run the subsequent test on this piece of equipment over here. But one of the benefits of the cobot is that we're able to work around it relatively safely. So you can see now it's switching over to the tooling to put the cover down.
You know, and I have to say, this is one of my favorite parts about what we get to do every day at Intelligent Ag is, I mean, how cool is this? To see this level of automation and have these robots that are building the products that we provide to you. As kind of the final step in building the 24-port ECUs, what we do after all the testing and all the functional testing has been done, then we rack them up. And here you can see one of our finished products. And then from there, we actually take them to an assembly cell, and the bracket gets installed. And then finally, we box them up. We're going to talk about our zone control product here. This is actually the bin kit and the bin kit assembly station work cell. We've actually got a motor subassembly that is partially put together. So this is actually, it looks just like a bin kit, but this is actually a test fixture to make sure that these subassemblies are built correctly. And then sort of the final step in this workstation, you can see this is a full subassembly of the entire gate assembly. And then what this fixture does is run the gates in and out and essentially make sure that the PM4, the motors, the gates, and all of those assembly pieces are put together correctly. Just another quality check to make sure that what we put in the field for you is good to go. And then the final step after assembly is complete is we put them in these boxes, we pallet them up, and we get them off to shipping. And here we are in the Intelligent Ag warehouse, and you can see some of our different boxes for components such as ECUs and gateways, but essentially our inventory managers, when they're putting together an order, will come out here and grab these various components, put them on a cart, put them into final packaging, and then get them shipped out.
So we have a special guest here. This is Nate Schneck. He's the Director of Test and Certification. And when we talk about designing agriculture electronics, before we even get it out to the field, there's like a ton of stuff that we have to consider for it to survive in the environments we're going to put it in. Nate's going to give us a bit of an overview of some of the things we actually design the products around, and then how we go about testing them before we even take them into the field to test with real customers. So Nate, what are we standing in front of here?
So this is called a thermal shock chamber. If you're in the middle of the winter, you got a heated shop, and then you pull open your overhead door and you drive out there and all of a sudden it's minus 20 degrees outside. Well, that can have an effect on electronics. And so what we try to do with this chamber is simulate a whole bunch of those cycles that might occur over the life of the device. There's a hot chamber and a cold chamber, and then it'll transition to the other chamber on this little carriage within 10 seconds. And so if you don't design a gasket properly or something like that, this can expose issues.
Yeah, so it could actually, over time, weaken the solder, crack it, or then obviously your electronics would fail.
So this is a temperature humidity chamber, and what this allows us to do that's different than thermal shock, allows you to control the humidity in there. Okay. And so what could happen with your device if it's not vented properly, condensation can build up in the device and actually cause failures of the electronics inside.
So if you're parking your equipment like most of us do overnight, and it gets really cool and humid overnight, and then it heats up really hot over the day, like this is kind of what that's trying to simulate a little bit, and see if our electronics have any adverse effects under those conditions. So we're in kind of a interesting looking closet. What's going on here?
Yeah, so what we do in this room is vibration and shock testing. Say you're driving a tractor down the field, you accidentally drive yourself through a drainage ditch or something like that, you could have serious problems.
Right.
And so we want to make sure it's way out of that range.
Again, just a lot of thought has to go into this stuff. So, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on here at Intelligent Ag to make sure you get a good product that meets your needs and provides value year after year after year. We put a lot of emphasis on quality. You've seen in the test department and as well as in manufacturing, there's a lot of emphasis on quality, making sure you get a really rock solid product that's going to last a long time in the field, and by the time it gets to you has been thoroughly tested, thoroughly vetted, and we make sure we're putting good stuff in your hands. But at the end of the day, we couldn't do any of this without great customers who believe in our products, who believe in the value of those products, and put their faith and dollars and trust in us to do what we do. So we're very appreciative of our customers out there, and thank you very much for trusting us now for almost 10 years. Look forward to more content coming from us. So make sure you're subscribed to all of our social media channels. You'll see more stories from customers and ourselves coming out in the near future. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.